Hey folks, Tim Whalen from Whalen Jazz Lessons. My last video was all about first steps for improvisation using only chord tones. The idea of it is to get rid of modes and scales and complex vocabulary and to really master getting a flow using only 1-3-5-7. If you want to check it out, if you haven't seen it, you can click the link. I think it's right up there. This video, it's a part 2. It's not going to be very long, and I'm only talking about one thing, but it's a very important next step. And it's the idea of adding an approach tone to a chord tone. Just a quick interruption to tell you that if you haven't seen it yet, I have a free workshop called Play Jazz Piano Voicings with Confidence. It lays down a great foundation, to get you to play jazz piano voicings with more confidence. We talk about some of the essential things that you should do to become more fluent and more well-versed in playing chords on the piano. So click the link below. It's in the description. Totally free, and I'll see you in there. Now, the last video took you through a few steps, going through the form of any tune, playing all the thirds, then playing all the sevenths, and then we did some work with just quarter notes, going through the changes with 1-3-5-7, and then we did some arpeggios, and then we put it all together in just improvisation using rhythm and eighth notes. This now is taking that same idea with the understanding that you have worked on getting those chord changes together. I would strongly recommend doing that for quite a while and then implement this next step. It's just one step, but what this will do, it's a very crucial thing to be able to understand approach notes, and I'll explain what that is in a minute. This creates movement between chord changes. It gives forward momentum going into the next change, and we're only doing one little thing. So, what is an approach note? My definition for this video, all it is you're approaching a tone from a half step below, the beat before, or the subdivision before of whatever subdivision you're playing. Example of an approach note, if I'm going to play C major 7, there's 1-3-5-7, right? If I wanted to approach the root, I would just play a note a half step below. It's an approach note from a half step below, approaching the strong tone, which is the chord tone. A lot of times, not all, but a lot of times the approach tone is on the offbeat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. See that? So I did it to the third. 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and 3. Fifth. Seventh. What this does is you can already hear it gives a little bit of forward movement into the next tone. What we can do now is we can take the stuff we learned in the last video and now incorporate this added little step. I'm going to do it in two ways. The first way, on the last video we did an arpeggio exercise where we did 3 variations of arpeggios. We did 1-3-5-7, 1-3-7-5, or 1-5-7-3. So if we're going to take Autumn Leaves, that first chord is a C minor 7, okay. We're going to do the same exercise we did in the previous video, but now we're going to add an approach tone to the root, just the root. We're just going to give you an idea of feeling this movement through the chords, and by doing it with just this set arpeggio, you can get used to approaching this tone. We'll deal with thirds, sevenths, fifths, extensions, all in different videos, but like I've always said, one thing at a time. So let's check this out. We're going to do arpeggios through the whole form with the approach tone. Now let's do 1, 3, 7, 5. Okay, then the last one is 1, 5, 3, 7. I'm just giving you these three variations like the last one with this. It's just good to see these permutations. You can never do it enough. So here it is with, okay? Even that exercise, you can hear there's some movement. Just that approach gives it some more movement. Now the next step is going to put this into practice over a song form. We'll still use Autumn Leaves like we did before. The rule here is you're still going to only play 1, 3, 5, 7 of each chord change. But whenever the chord changes, the note before your arrival note on that chord change is going to be a half step below. So you're going to end up approaching any chord tones a half step below. Let's do this in time to Autumn Leaves so you can hear it. Approach, 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 approach. 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 Even with quarter notes, you can hear that that's giving motion, okay? Such a cool skill to have. Now let me do it with, I'll do eighth notes, continuous eighth notes. Approach, 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 sorry, approach, 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 approach. Okay, so you're not going to solo like that with continuous eighth notes. But again, I've said in many videos before, this is practicing. There's a difference between practicing and playing. I made a few mistakes there. That's life, whatever. That's why I keep it in. So you can see like I'm not some piece of museum furniture that's perfect all the time. So whatever that means. Now let's just incorporate just rhythm and the rests and offbeats and syncopation and all sorts of things. It's the same idea though. We're still going to approach the chord tone from a half step, but now we're just going to make it sound a little bit more like improvising. So here we go. So that's the basic idea. I think on a couple of those I may have done a step above. That's a different video, but that's kind of all I got today. So the idea here is now you're still playing with chord tones, but now you're going to approach those chord tones from a half step below. It'll create movement in your solos. The next steps now are going to be adding scale tones, and then we can start incorporating other things into these chord tones. Good improvisation, it's really a combination of rhythm, scales, enclosures, arpeggios, triplets. You start incorporating all these things together into a soup, that's where you start to really get great language. It's what you hear the masters do. So I hope this was helpful, and I appreciate you being here. If you haven't hit subscribe, please do so. Hit the notification bell, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.